Awesome. All right. I think this is on. All right. Hi, my name is Harrison Memba, and in this video, I'll teach you a little bit about um, sound design for music production. The DAW I'm using, or the digital audio workshop I'm using, is called FL Studio. I'm using the 10th version of it, FL Studio 10 Producer Edition. It's a pretty, it's a really nice DAW. I personally enjoy it because I feel it's really good for both beginners and people who are advanced with music production. It has a very intuitive workflow. Um, Here I have all my files. Here's my workspace, and here are the different tracks. You can mute them, unmute them. But yeah, let's get straight to production, or let's get straight to sound design. The the VST, or the instrument that I will be using, is called the triple oscillator. It's basically a a general kind of VST that you see in a lot of DAWs these days. I think Logic has one called the 3X OSC. Um, I don't know, but yeah, it's a very vanilla type of VST, but you can get a lot of really cool sounds out of them. Here, let me show you some sounds that I've made before that I really enjoyed. That I call that's one of my favorite detuned leads. Here's another one of my detuned leads. But I mean, you can't just get like weird computer sounding things from this. You can also get a lot of cool effects. Like here's a nice little build up synth that I made. I think this is air. What I did was I changed the filter parameters to make the airize effect. But let's start with a basic sine wave. That is the default program. That is the default patch you get with the triple oscillator. And what that is, it's really simple. It's just two sine waves. Actually, it's three sine waves. Here we have the upper sine wave. It's at the third octave, and you can see that because of this coarse pitch knob. If I just reset it, and this one, this sine wave is at the um, is at the mid octave, and this sine wave below is at the lowest octave. And you can switch these octaves anytime you want with the coarse pitch knob. Right now it's at -12, and this one is at -24, and this one is at 0. Um, with these, you can also change the fine tuning of the various sine waves and their oscillators, but I don't think we really need to get into that right now. And also, you can change the volume of the second and third oscillators, but you can't change the volume of the first oscillator because you can't turn it off. That this is the primary oscillator. But let's turn these other two off for now. So that is oscillator number one. That is oscillator number one simply by itself. And like I said, oscillator number one is a sine wave right now. Um, Again, I can change the chorus pitch. That's really high. And that's really low. I'm not even sure if you could hear that. But we also have some different waveforms other than sine waves. We also have triangle waves, which sound like that. We also have square waves. Square waves sound very, I guess, electronic. We also have triangle waves. Triangle waves sound, I think, in my opinion, very robotic. And this is a different kind of wave than you'll get with most this third wave, or this fifth wave right here is a different kind of wave than you'll get with most basic VSTs, and most I guess with most like triple oscillator like VSTs. This is a fusion between a triangle and a square, I believe. It sounds like this. And finally, the sixth waveform is actually a noise waveform. So it doesn't have any really musical qualities. It's all just noise. It's like the kind of static you get on your TV. So it doesn't matter which note I press. It's all the same noise. But with the different oscillators, they all have certain qualities to them. For example, sine wave is very, I think, in my opinion, is very bland and but also very smooth. A triangle wave, it also is smooth, very smooth, but it has a little bit more flavor to it. Sounds kind of like what you'd get on a kid's toy. A square wave, a square wave is very sharp and, in my opinion, very electronic. It sounds like a bunch of bleeps. A triangle wave, like I said, I feel it's very robotic. It also has a sort of edge to it, which in my opinion, I really like. And but we won't go into this fifth waveform right now. All really we need to know are these basic four: sine, triangle, square, and saw wave. To make different sounds, I personally like to use a fusion of any of these waveforms on the different oscillators. So I might have a square wave on the first oscillator, a triangle wave on the second oscillator, and maybe another square on the third oscillator. Now, let me turn the volume up on these other two. So I can see the kind of sounds that we get. Yeah, that, in my opinion, is a really cool sound. You can do a lot. You can do a lot with these sound combinations. Um, but after the waves, after the wave tables, we also have what's called envelopes and filters. We have envelopes, filters, and LFOs. And here are the different functions that they have. For example, here is the instrument's panning, here's its volume, here's its cutoff, here's its resonance, and here's its pitch. Right now, let's just work with the volume because volume is the simplest to understand. So with this, what an envelope does is it determines various time parameters for the VST. For example, if we give this or the four parameters on the volume envelope are attack, or ADSR, or attack, decay, sustain, and release. Those are the four primary parameters. But on this, we also have hold and delete. I don't use delete much. All it does is move the envelope to a farther position. But usually, I use attack, hold, decay, sustain, and release the most. For example, all these do something different. For example, if I give this instrument a very high attack, the sound will come in slowly. Listen to this. But if I give it a very short attack, it'll come in right away as soon as I press the button. So there we get the full sound. And hold determines how long the sound will hold its value for. If I give it a very long hold, it'll continue going on almost infinitely. With that same volume. But if I give it a very short hold, the volume will decrease quickly. I should also give it a short decay if I want the volume to decrease even faster. Oh, and I should turn this release down. Or I should turn this sustain down. Because what the sustain does, the sustain is kind of like the hold, because the sustain allows what level the sound should be sustaining at. Now we have a very short sound. It's it's just a very short, nice little bleep. Because what happened was I turned down the decay, the release, the sustain, and I turned down the hold. So and the attack was all the way up. So that was the only sound we could get with the volume parameter. Um, and also we have this filter parameter, and what it does is it filters the different frequencies that that will let that the sound can pass through. For example, right now we're on a fast LP, which is short for a fast low pass. And what that does, if we change these parameters right here, we can get different frequencies to be cut off or accentuated. Right now I'm cutting off frequencies probably around, I'd say probably around everywhere from 500 hertz and up. If we take it to the extreme, you probably won't be able to even hear this. But we can also, here is the filter resonance, and if we turn that way up, what it's going to do is it's going to accentuate various features. So now it has a weird sound to it. Let's turn that back down. And finally, we come to the LFO, or low frequency oscillator. What the LFO does is it changes, it, it gives real-time automation to the volume parameter or any of these various parameters that you want to modulate. But let's do it to the volume since it will be the most obvious. Here with this knob, we determine the speed. I like to set the speed at 2 steps. Here we determine the amount, how much the LFO affects the volume parameter. And here we have the attack, which the attack is very similar to the attack on an envelope because it determines how quickly um, how quickly this effect will take hold. And here we have the delete again. I usually don't use that often, but let me turn the attack up so we can actually hear what it's doing. And as you can see, that LFO gives it a nice little vibrato effect. So that's really cool. And like I said, we can change the speed. It's very, very automated. So timing is always perfect. But yeah, those are just the bare bones basics of sound design in terms of music production. And that's all the time I have today. So thank you.